Okay, so have you heard about this AI Ching app?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Have a trip, right.
it really is. It's one of those things where I saw it and I was like, we have to do a deep dive on this.
Yeah, it's perfect for this.
Ancient wisdom meets like cutting edge AI.
Hmm.
It's based on this blog post actually announcing the app.
Okay.
And it's a lot, so get ready. But before we totally geek out, I think we should probably start with like the basics.
Yeah.
Anyone who, might not have the I Ching memorized or whatever.
Right.
So big picture, what is the I Ching?
Okay, so the I Ching, it's his ancient Chinese text.
Ancient.
Yeah, and people have been using it for centuries for things like getting guidance,
Right?
divination.
Oh, like fortune telling, kind of?
Kind of, but it's a little deeper than that.
Okay.
It's more about understanding how change happens
Mm-hmm.
and seeing your own situation, whatever it is, within those patterns of change.
So not like predicting the future, but more like,
More like getting insight into what IS and what might be to come based on that.
okay, so how does it work? Do you like draw
No,
cards?
it's not cards. It uses these things called hexagrams. Have you ever seen those?
I feel like I have V, but I couldn't describe one.
Okay, picture like 6 lines stacked on top of each other.
Okay.
And each line can be either solid or broken.
Okay.
And depending on the combination of those lines, you get a different hexagram. And each hexagram, it's like a symbol
Representing
representing a different kind of situation or a
Yeah.
different like stage in a process of change.
like snapshots of different life moments almost.
Exactly. And that's
Huh.
a big part of why the I Ching has stuck around for so long. It reflects something really basic about being human. We all go through these ups and downs, these periods of uncertainty.
Yeah, totally. Okay, but this app we're talking about, it doesn't have you like drawing lines or anything.
No, no. It claims to use AI.
Do what exactly?
Well, according to this blog post, it uses AI, specifically ChatGPT,
Oh, of course, everyone's favorite AI.
to analyze the hexagrams and offer what they call personalized guidance.
Personalized how? Like it knows me.
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's one thing to like have an app that spits out I Ching verses, but to
Yeah.
say it's giving you personalized guidance,
Like a bold claim, for sure.
it is. And it makes you wonder how much is it really tailoring the interpretation to the individual versus just kind of, I don't know, dressing up generic advice in fancy AI language.
Right. It's easy to say personalized, but what does that actually look like in practice?
Mm-hmm.
That's something we really need to unpack. And then there's the other thing they mentioned in this blog post.
What's that?
They're pulling from all these different I Ching sources, like various translations, interpretations, the whole deal.
Oh, wow. See, that's interesting to me because on the one hand, that could be really cool.
Right.
Like you're getting a broader perspective maybe. But on the other hand, does that make it even harder to figure out what the heck it's actually trying to tell you?
Exactly. And that's where this skepticism comes in.
Yeah.
Because if it's pulling from all these different sources, how is it deciding which interpretation is most relevant to you?
Right.
And how much emphasis is it putting on one source over another? Are some sources weighted more heavily in its algorithm? We don't know. It's a black box.
It really is. I mean, is it even possible
That's $1 million question, right?
to like really capture the essence of something like the I Ching with ones and zeros?
Right, because we're talking about a text that's been around for, what, thousands of years?
Yeah, and it's not just like a history book. It's supposed to offer wisdom, guidance.
And not in a, like, do this, don't do that kind of way.
No, it's way more about like introspection and
Nuance.
yes. So how do you even begin to program that into an AI?
Right. How do you teach a machine to understand something that's so deeply human? And not just understand it, but interpret it in a way that's meaningful.
Personalized even.
Exactly. It's a tall order, to say the least. But for the sake of argument, let's say they somehow pulled it off.
Okay, let's say they did. How would this app even work in practice? Like walk me through it.
Okay, so based on what they say in this blog post, it sounds like the app tries to mimic the traditional way of consulting the I Ching.
Okay, so like what? You're virtually flipping coins in the app.
Well, more like the app's using a random number generator to do it for you.
Oh, okay, same idea though, to get your hexagram.
Exactly. So you get your hexagram, which remember is just this visual representation of 6 lines that are either broken or solid.
Right.
And each hexagram corresponds to a different, let's call it, a different reading or a different piece of wisdom from the I Ching.
Okay, so then the AI takes that hexagram and what? Looks it up in a database.
Essentially, yeah. It probably has access to this huge database of different I Ching interpretations. And based on the hexagram you get, it pulls up the corresponding text.
But then how does it make it personalized? That's what I don't get.
That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, it's probably where a lot of the marketing hype comes in.
Because how much can it really personalize something that's based on an ancient text?
Right. It's not like the AI is interviewing you about your life story and then crafting a custom I Ching reading based on that.
Unless it is, and they're just not telling us.
Maybe there's a secret, super advanced version they're not releasing to the public?
Right. Like
That
the AI whispers you personalized wisdom directly into your earbud.
Sign me up for that version.
But in all seriousness, I think it's important to be realistic about what this app can actually deliver.
Totally. And that's where I think it's helpful to remember what we were talking about earlier about AI being a tool.
It's like, yeah, it can be this really cool, fascinating tool, but it's still just that, a tool.
Right. It's not like a magic 8-ball that's going to give you all the answers.
No, and I think that's maybe the biggest thing our listeners should take away from this.
Absolutely, because it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new tech.
Oh, for sure, especially when it's something like this that feels kind of like mystical almost.
Yeah, like AI is reading the ancient wisdom just for you, but in reality, it's a lot more, I don't know, algorithmic than that.
Definitely. So would you recommend, like, if someone's listening to this and they're intrigued, should they download the app?
I mean, I think it could be a fun experiment.
Yeah.
Like, don't go into it expecting to have your whole life changed.
Right.
But if you approach it with a sense of curiosity, I think there could be some value there.
As long as you don't take it too seriously, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, don't base any major life decisions on what the AI Ching app tells you.
Maybe consult a human expert just in case.
Always a good idea. But seriously, I think the real value of something like this, if there is any, is that it might get more people interested in the I Ching in the first place.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like maybe this app is someone's introduction to this whole ancient system of wisdom.
And then hopefully they'll be inspired to, actually read the I Ching itself.
Exactly. Because no app, no matter how advanced, can really replace the experience of engaging with the actual text.
100%.
The depth, the poetry, the ambiguity of it all. That's where the real magic is.
Well said. And on that note, a huge thank you to you, dear listener, for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope you found it as thought-provoking as we did. And hey, if you do decide to check out this AI I Ching app, let us know what you think. You can always find us on all the socials. Until next time, stay curious.